Why you keep holding losing trades, and how to finally stop. Why do you keep holding on to losing trades? It's one of the most painful things a trader can go through, yet almost every single one of us does it. Not because we think it's a smart strategy, but because in that moment, it feels safer than closing the trade and taking the loss. See, the loss doesn't just feel financial, it feels personal. It feels like a judgment against who you are and what you're capable of. When a trade goes against you, the first thing that takes a hit isn't your account balance. It's your confidence. It's your belief in yourself. Cutting that loss forces you to confront that feeling of failure immediately, and your brain is hardwired to avoid that kind of emotional pain at all costs. So instead of closing the trade, your mind pushes you toward the illusion of safety, holding on, waiting, and hoping. Hope becomes your new trading plan. Logic completely fades into the background, and without even realizing it, you shift from being a disciplined trader into being an emotional negotiator. Every single tick against you becomes another reason to delay the inevitable. Every red candle becomes another moment where you tell yourself, just a little longer, it'll turn around. The truth is, your brain is actually trying to protect you. On a biological level, taking a loss triggers the same pain centers in your brain as a physical injury. That's why hitting that close button feels so threatening. Your nervous system literally reacts as if it's under attack, even though all that's happening is a small fluctuation in price on a screen. This emotional hijacking becomes even stronger when you're tired, stressed, frustrated, or just running on low emotional energy. When your internal battery is drained, your decision-making completely collapses. The smallest red move on the chart feels catastrophic. The smallest pullback feels like definitive proof that you messed up. And because your emotional bandwidth is already low, everything just feels heavier than it should. The moment you start moving your stop loss or refusing to cut the trade, it stops being about strategy. It becomes about protecting your ego. You're no longer reacting to what the chart is telling you. You're reacting to the story you're telling yourself about what this loss means. And that story is usually far, far harsher than the reality of the situation. The real fear isn't about losing money. The real fear is about what that loss represents. You might fear that you just don't have what it takes to be a trader, that you're just repeating the same old destructive patterns, that you're falling behind everyone else, that you've wasted so much time, or maybe that you broke your rules again and you feel ashamed. These deep internal fears make holding on to a loser feel so much easier than accepting the truth and just resetting. Your brain tries to help you by feeding you comforting lies. It whispers things like, "It'll come back." It whispers, "You've seen this bounce before? Just wait for it." It whispers, "Just give it a little more room to breathe." These thoughts feel supportive in the moment, but they're simply your mind's way of trying to delay emotional discomfort. And yet, every single moment you delay, the emotional tension just grows. You feel trapped. You feel the walls closing in. You can feel that familiar anxiety rising in your chest. Your breathing gets shallow. Your hands tense up on the mouse. You start imagining all the worst-case scenarios, all because you didn't take that one small, simple action of closing the trade when it was still manageable. This is not a failure of discipline. This is a nervous system overload. The emotional weight becomes too heavy to carry. And in that state, your brain cannot access rational thinking. You're not weak. You're overloaded. And overloaded brains make impulsive, desperate decisions because they're trying to escape the emotional pain as quickly as possible. The way out of this cycle begins with one single awareness. The pain of holding a loser is always, always worse than the pain of cutting it. The longer you hold on, the more your mind spirals out of control. The more the loss grows, the more your confidence erodes. The longer you wait, the more your entire day, maybe even your week, is consumed by this one single mistake. Now, imagine how different it would feel if you just shrank your position size. Shrink it so much that a loss becomes almost irrelevant. Imagine a world where the red number on your screen isn't threatening, where the loss doesn't touch your identity or your self-worth, where you can look at it without panic, without pressure, without any shame. Using a smaller size creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is what restores clarity. Next, imagine deciding on your stop loss before you even enter the trade. When you're calm, thoughtful, and grounded, you choose your exit point. You don't negotiate with yourself in the heat of the moment. You don't ask the market for mercy. You simply follow the plan that you made when you were at your best. This one single habit is what separates professional traders from emotional ones. Cutting losses intentionally, not because you were forced out, but because you chose to, begins rewiring your entire relationship with the market. It teaches your brain that losses are not a danger signal. It teaches you that losses are simply a part of the process. It proves to you that losses do not threaten your identity or your future. They are simply the cost of doing business in this industry. When you finally internalize this concept, something incredibly powerful happens. You no longer fear being wrong. You no longer fear uncertainty. You no longer fear letting go of a bad idea. And when that fear finally fades, your death grip on losing trades just disappears right along with it. Your confidence will start to grow from a completely different place, not from avoiding losses, but from your ability to handle them with maturity and speed. That kind of confidence is unshakable. It's the real foundation of consistent trading. It's the mindset of a trader who is playing the long game, not the short-term emotional game. Cutting your losers quickly keeps your mental energy intact. It keeps your account stable. It keeps your emotions clear. It allows your strategy to actually function as it was designed. The moment you stop holding on to losers, you stop sabotaging your own future. You stop turning a small, manageable mistake into a catastrophic, account-blowing setback. You finally begin acting like the trader you know you can be. Every great trader you've ever heard of has one thing in common. They are masters at exiting bad trades fast. They don't hesitate. They don't negotiate. They don't try to justify holding on. They simply honor their rules. They protect their capital, and most importantly, they protect their mind. You can build that same habit. You can build that same identity. You can choose strength over fear, clarity over chaos, and decisive action over passive avoidance. You can step into the version of yourself who trusts his decisions, respects his plan, and cuts losses without any emotional drama. So the next time a trade goes against you, just pause. Take a breath. Notice the story your mind is telling you. Notice that powerful urge to just hope it comes back. Notice the fear of letting go and accepting you were wrong. And then choose the action that supports your future, not the one that feeds your fear. That single decision to cut the loss quickly is where everything begins to change for you. It's one small moment of courage. It's one small act of strength. It's one small decision that builds the identity of a disciplined, consistent, and profitable trader. The trader you want to become isn't hiding in some far-off future. He's right here, inside the decisions you make today. And cutting a losing trade quickly is the doorway to becoming him. You already have everything you need to take that step. It just begins with one choice, one exit, one moment of clarity. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, be sure to subscribe for more.